welcome back to another LinuxGameCast Weekly, the show that covers the latest Linux gaming news, reviews, how-tos, and most importantly, whatever the hell else we come up with. This week, Jordan's favorite game. It celebrated Easter, that's right. Maybe it's finally on par. And Rise of the Tomb Raider. Feral's kind of, sort of, maybe giving it a release date. I don't know. Just, come on, man. Release it.
Steam obscures your private bits, but not everything. And hey, want to pay $2,000 for a monitor? No, me neither.
Steam Spy is dead. Long live privacy. And Feral goes into game mode. What that means, nobody knows.
And I hit the wrong button because I'm Vin Stone here at LGC actually switching all these bits, doing the Nightmare Fuel, bringing you this insanity. With the assistance, the help, nay, the, I'm out of words, that's Jordan's Fang from Canady, Canucksville, and his banana, the most terrifying part of this trio. And that giggling has not confused you yet. That is one Pedro Mateus, coming to you from the island in Space Brand, Tanya. Joined every week by Shot Realm Dynamic in Discord and the IRCs helping us form. You know him, you love it. Cocaine Voltron. Before we get started, yes, drugs and how to film them. That's basically the show. We do like to see what's going on.
This banana is loaded up with heroin.
Hey, man, you haven't lived until you've shot heroin with a banana, man. I've had like 3 heroines. Wait, marijuanas. Hi, kids.
Hello. Drugs are bad. Don't do drugs.
I fucking love it, man. Just right out of the station and the train just tilts over. It doesn't even have a pretense of like getting to its destination. Before we get started, take 3. We do see what's going on in each other's life organs. Jordan, you are seeing the world in a new way.
Yeah, Friday was the last day of my current job before I go to the new job on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had to clean up my workspace, and I had bought a 4K monitor just to use at work because they weren't going to give me one. So I brought it home, and now I have 2. So I haven't set it up just yet because I need to get a new VESA arm that can actually support the weight of that monitor.
Ooh.
But yeah. Once I do that, I'll be living that double 4K life. I mean, the 980 can push 2 of them. It's gonna get weird.
It's gonna be great, Morty. It's gonna be great. Pedro, have you built any recent like freaking laptops, or what are you up to, man?
No, but I am fixing 2 laptops for other Portuguese people who live close by, and I mean Portuguese people in the UK stick together, you know.
I was about to bring up how racist that was, but thanks for doubling down.
Yeah. So I realized that I was missing quite a few bits in my old toolbox, so I bought this one off of Amazon that has like all the precision bits, like 54 of them.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I'm good for now.
I ordered frighteningly similar device, but direct from China, so I'll probably get it between now and Christmas, but it was like £3. That was definitely a thing. Not a lot to report. In Finland, oh, here's one thing. Why does it still take like 5 to 7 business days to transfer money between banking accounts in 2018?
Because fuck you, that's why.
Basically is all I could make out of that. And there you go. That's the thing. One thing we do need to transfer is our knowledge into a bat so we can beat it all out of the horse.
We got to materialize the horse. The photons aren't aligning and the polarity's reversed. It's the steam.
Linux
Update
of the
week. All right. So Steam has decided that in the wake of certain hearings being carried out by the U.S. government,
hearings. What are you talking about? I don't remember anything but a hearing.
I don't know. Maybe it has something to do with the fact that GDPR is starting to be implemented in North America, but much to the chagrin of like software developers everywhere, because now they got to add a bunch of GDPR requirements to their software, which I had to deal with up until yesterday. Yeah, they have. Valve has added some new privacy settings to your Steam profile. Now, no longer will you see the no longer. Bleh, what am I saying?
I don't know, man.
The games you're playing, the games you've owned, the games you're currently playing, and your achievements are now things that you do not have to show people. That is all opt-in by default. And they have this little thing now. You don't have to be embarrassed about the 4,000 hours you put in Ricochet. Motherfucker, I am proud of every single hot second I have devoted to that masterpiece of gaming that is Ricochet. They're also adding a thing to stop you from, or stop your online offline status from being enabled. But Ven, it looks like there might be some stuff that they kind of missed.
I'm just Caitlin kind of threw some things, man. She's like, yo, things that are secret in the public Steam profiles, the data Steam Spy uses. This is the stuff that's the stuff they nixed. Inventory probably because used as a scam TF2 CSGO players. Things that are not secret. And the list of groups she's in. My full name, my achievements, my screenshots, owns my friends list. To which I'll retort, yeah, that sounds about like Valve, doesn't it?
That is a very half measure.
Pedro.
And it had, it's to kind of, push us on to the next story. The decision to make your Steam library opt-in by default means that tools like Steam Spy that relied on that information being public by default, and they basically, if their crawler ran into a profile that was private, then it would just ignore it and try to find the next public one. And now Steam Spy is dead. They say that they're not able to operate anymore because not anything to do with the privacy settings themselves, but just because of that fact that the gaming library is hidden by default. So, I mean, I don't really care. I didn't really pay that much attention to Steam Spy. What I really cared about was seeing YouTubers over the course of this week, just the divide that showed up in people's heads. It's like, oh, privacy is a good thing, but Steam Spy is dead.
Well, and that's the thing. There's been a lot of problems lately with LinkedIn, with Facebook about API scraping, right? Where you can just kind of submit a bunch of garbage data, and eventually the garbage data will be an actual API call with an actual account number and whatnot. So they're using that to get a lot of information that they maybe shouldn't have been able to get in the first place. I get why these guys are mad, because this is kind of their bread and butter. But at the same time, all that data that they're using should be opt-in for sharing by default anyways. So
basically,
I'm not crying any tears.
No, again, if you make a business of something Valve does, good luck with that. This is typical Valve. This is something that should have been private to begin with, but it's Valve. They don't change shit unless something blows up. This, I think, almost is a rare example of them almost getting ahead of something. I mean, in true Valve fashion, they've implemented it poorly and half-assed.
It's not really they're getting ahead of anything, though. It's hit other people, and they're like, "Oh shit, that might affect us. We better fucking."
That's what I'm saying. They're trying to get ahead of the upcoming storm, because now the public of like, "Oh shit, companies are selling our information because we're using their services for free. What the fuck? I never saw this coming." Really?
You didn't read the end user license agreement.
Well, okay. Well, to be fair, there's that story on Reddit where like they actually nonstop read one of those end user license agreements, and it took them about 32 hours to actually do it. To be fair,
listen, I might be a simple country lawyer, but even I could know that Facebook was trying to fuck me.
Yeah. Facebook was providing you with a platform to play all those really microtransaction laden games and connecting with your family, your friends, and selling you off to the whichever advertisement company, advertiser, yeah, I guess that would work, whichever company would give him the most money. And well, now people are aware of it. Only now,
well,
really.
Mr. Alert brings up, he's like, hey man, just live and chat about the GDPR, and Facebook is going to be implementing that as much as they can, just like earth-wide.
Well, I know in Canada that's actually becoming like a law. Like, I think by 2022, people have to any software companies running in Canada have to actually use GDPR. They have to enforce it. They have to take that into account. I mean, it's good. Like I've had to implement GDPR stuff for the last company I worked for, and it's all useful stuff, except for maybe right to forget. I really think, yeah, people do shit that they regret on the internet, but it's kind of the point. Well, is that it's up there forever.
My only problem with the right to forget is where you're going to have to Google what you got to go against the people who have the story that Google's just linking to, man. I mean, Google's not your problem here.
But Google is the easiest means to find those stories. So
yeah, it's easier to legislate Google than it is to legislate every other.
So naturally, everyone's going to implement the life hack and just use Bing to find. If all employers are going to know, go to Bing and do the search.
DuckDuckGo, right. But sure.
Yeah. Well, DuckDuckGo uses Bing anyways, so it's all good.
On the topic of data mining.
Speaking of Steam Spy, even popular games are popular. Like, who'd have thunk it?
As like the last thing that they put out, you can now see like a map of which game is the most popular in each country of the world. And you could see, well, it's sort of expected. You see China and like the southern bits of Asia. China, Russia, southern bits of Asia. It's PUBG. Well, Russia is actually more Dota 2. But yeah, China is all PUBG, like all the time. And over here in Europe and Canada and Brazil, CSGO seems to be the dominant game, which kind of surprised me on accounts of you also have Team Fortress 2 there, which is the most popular in the US, Mexico, a couple other countries, India, Australia, because, you know, it's free. It makes sense that it would be the most popular game, or at least the game that most people have in their account.
Well, yeah, Daddy. One of the things is like you're competing against free, and CSGO being listed on that chart any fucking where is because you get Dota, then you have TF2.
Like all of them Valve games, all of them are Valve is basically giving them away, right? And it boils down to all this chart confirms is that popular games are popular.
Well, you also have PUBG. And I know somebody's going to look at PUBG who's like, how is that taking off? It's so expensive. Not in China. It's like 30 cents in China. So,
and I was looking at the like Africa. There's a lot of bits in gray, and it's like, wait, Tanzania's in gray too. What the hell? Does one person not, win by default? Does that not count as the most popular?
No.
But that's the thing. Okay. That's most games owned, right? So if Linux Nuru is the only person who owns them, then it's a tie between everything that he owns.
Oh yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
Okay, the master is pleased with the latest update to Hand of Fate 2.
Oh yes, and if one of the things you thought that Hand of Fate 2 was certainly lacking from the first one was the endless mode, well, here it is. It's free. You don't have to pay any extra bits of DLC. This isn't the AAA gaming company, what you'd expect, but it's the endless mode. It's exactly it plays exactly the same way that it did in the original game. You just pick a deck and then you just keep going through dungeons and dungeons and dungeons, and it's good. That's by the time I finished Hand of Fate 1, it's like 10 hours in or something. All the rest of the time was just me in endless mode, just doing it over and over and over again, because it's really fun. It's kind of where that game shines, because you don't have as many, although that is one thing that I'll have to play more of it to find out whether or not they'll include some of the gimmicks, the gimmicky maps that they included with Hand of Fate 2. Kind of curious to see where they're going to go.
Let me tell you where I'm curious about, man, ultimately, is it's endless manos, and that's the thing. That's great. Did they fix the roly-poly fight mechanics where you can just spam your way out of any fight? Period.
No.
Oh,
that's still there.
That is the singular most boring part of that game, where you're just rolling around, stab, roll, stab, and eventually you'll win. But my God, you'll just fall asleep before that.
Well, for me, that was like the one thing that I was able to accumulate the amount of time I did in a game like this, because we all know it, 3 of us, I'm like, fuck this noise, but okay, gotta try it. And it's like, okay, the fighting's so much better than it was in the first one. It's like, it's not bad. It's not, you know, Shadow of Mordor good, but I can get used to this. But the second I discovered that, you know, just straight up patience and rolling, then I was like, when you hit a fighting area where you had to do combat, it's like, it was just annoying. I was like, well, fuck, I got to spend 5 minutes rolling around in circles and killing everything.
Maybe they will do something with the extra bits of DLC that they sort of kind of hint at the end of the post. So we'll see. I am kind of curious to see what else they can add to the game.
The other thing I'd like to see them fix, though, is that fucking command queue, because that fucked me over a lot.
Yes. That like, needs to go. It's...
Yeah, it's like, oh no, I hit the button. I'm committed to this fucking shit. No. Situation has changed, like, in that split second. I want to back off. No, you're gonna take these 6 attacks.
It's to I get why they did it. It's to, you know, to stop people from button mashing, but as someone who plays a lot of Dark Souls, Dark Souls did it. Basically, if you're locked into an animation, all your button prompts do nothing. So if you're doing an attack, unless you hit the button at the exact right time after the attack animation ends, it doesn't trigger another attack. They have to be very precise with that. I guess it's going to take some finagling to get right. But hey, looking forward to it.
Indeed. One of the things that has caused button mashing, gerbils being thrown, holes in walls forming is Golf with Fiends. A little bit of an update here. 1.106 not testing workshop maps and bug fixes. And if you keep track of this business, you're like, yay, level editor. And like, yeah, go fuck yourself. It's not ready yet. However, they did add, and we scroll down here, a little bit of lag, hashtag Jesus, hashtag Easter. It's there. So you got that. You got a workshop menu. That's in there. The ability to play workshop maps. That's good. Hockey achievements. I know Jordan almost weed himself when he heard about that. And that's about it. We played it last night during Friday Night Fubar. It seemed to have most of the same fuckery. But here's one thing.
It's still just as broken. Neat.
Well, this is what I'm worried about, P-Baby, is part of this game's charm, Jordan may disagree, is...
This game has no charm. No redeeming qualities at all.
Listen, man. Part of this game's charm is just the bugs. Like the game-breaking, physics-breaking, fuck you because that's why bugs. And if you get rid of that Polish... You're just gonna have another fucking golf game on the internet, man.
I mean, okay, there was a point where there were a lot of mini golf games coming out. They all went into early access. I don't think a single one of them has actually come out of early access, but hey, there were a bunch of them, and just, you know, fix it, make it. What's the word I'm looking for here? Work properly?
Don't. If you make it work properly.
How about you just take everyone who's developed this game behind a shed and just shoot them?
all of this just because they added Jesus to it. I mean, seriously, man. Just let it go.
No, this was before Jesus. Jesus is just the icing on the fucking hate cake.
Hate cake. RNG.
All right, Rocket League. That other game that I have a complex relationship with Rocket League. Anyways, they got a new patch out, the V144. There's a hotfix for the tournaments modes. There's a couple general fixes. There was stuttering when secure TCP sockets were enabled. Boost effects wouldn't be triggering. Incorrect avatars were showing up in the scoreboard. And apparently, I didn't know this, but you could actually have HTML tags in like your name in like messages you send out. And apparently that was, or at least in your player names, and that was actually breaking stuff.
Oh man, so, no, I could have definitely done like the psychic.
Did they support marquee tags?
Oh, dude, like they didn't support the blink tag, but I just saw it because I'm in our Rocket League on the Reddit that I saw. It was early last week, and they're like, somebody just put it in as a reminder because they thought everyone knows this, right? That yeah, you can use HTML markup, My friend's like, yeah, all right, that's going away in a few days, if not hours, which it did.
To be fair, that was a thing with your Steam profile. You could use HTML to make your name look all funky. I think they got rid of that in Steam too, but the HTML tags, if you had them, they're still there. They just don't do anything and they don't show up. Yeah. But if a game like Rocket League was parsing them, yeah.
Now, there's a couple other things with this update. They have now a heavy controller vibration, which I'm sure a certain 51% of the player population would be a big fan of. The wireless Xbox 360 controllers will not, or they're going to vibrate while they're boosting, so do whatever you want. Apparently, there are still some performance issues with the servers with the new version, as well as like specific wheel and body combinations will cause some weird clipping and artifacting. So there's probably going to be another hotfix coming out in the next couple weeks to address.
One thing I do want to bring up, because in the after shows, we'll do some Rocket Leagues. By the way, we're doing 3-on-3 teams this afternoon after the show, so keep that in mind. You might want to form your teams right. Meow. Foxy joins us from Space Australia, and he has interesting ping. It usually starts with like 2 and ends with a much higher number. So they've had the network settings bitrate that you can now limit all default to high on the bandwidth limit, so you can kind of get rid of that Nagatron screen.
Because I guess they saw that a lot of people were getting hit by that. People like Foxy, who like to play from the land down under with people up here in the northern hemisphere. So, yeah.
You mean the real world and not freaking the island rent where everything's trying to fucking
send your fucking hate mail. It's Jordan at LinuxGameCast.com.
Include as much bogan as you feel like, please.
Speaking of shit I don't care about.
Stardew Valley, yes, that is certainly a game for people who like monotonous, repetitive tasks in video game form. It's a game where you have to take care of your farm. You have to basically get other NPCs to like you, maybe find one to marry, and if that sounds a lot like your life, why the hell are you playing it in a video game? But hey, a lot of people seem to like it, because I saw the tweet is like, oh, wow, okay, almost 27,000 likes. Guess that particular community is still doing pretty good.
You know, when you put that in there and you're wondering, like, why do people still play this? I just look around reading through the reviews and it's like, I find this game to be very therapeutic. And it wasn't just one person, it was a shitload of people.
So it's like Euro Truck Simulator for me. Okay.
OG Harvest Moon on the Super Nintendo had a huge fan base. And like it kept going as they released new games, because it's just a game where you can chill out. It's not, there's no high pressure. There's like clear rules and there's progression, but you just kind of chill out and play a game. Plus, if you give people mayo over and over again, they'll love you. And now, because they're having a multiplayer mod, you can give your friends mayo so they can love you, because your friends don't love you. Only Linux Gamecast loves you.
This is true, as long as the check clears. Is this going to be like a persistent world? Is that how it works? And is it going to be just friends only? And the third question at the end of that is, do the people who play it for therapy necessarily have people to play it with?
Yes. Yes to that last question. I think it's gonna be like people can come into your game and fuck around with it, and like it'll save what other players do. I don't know. I'll have to check, because I know for a fact like Roommate plays a lot of that, so he would definitely know.
So it's kind of like Animal Crossing, right? Or one of those.
Animal Crossing or Harvest Moon.
Right.
Those are the two direct comparisons. Yeah. All
right.
Glitch.
Hey man, our last in our updates is Glitch Space. Formerly cost monies, now at the low price of free to play. What is it? It's about reprogramming a game to solve puzzles. There was a really good game we played like this, like 2 years ago. This is not that game. From Space Budgie, use visual programming. I don't know, man. This is a thing. It's even the soundtrack. It's free. It works on Linux, and it used to cost monies. So we put it in there. I tried it, and I shit you not. This is perfect show material, because you can't make this up. It has a visual glitch, like a white flash, when you're trying to play the thing, and I do not believe that was intentional. didn't try it.
Freaking seizure VR mode. Well, it only supports Oculus, so there's no VR on the Linuxes at the moment. So yeah, and I don't know.
Seems to be a theme with visual programming
as a.
You see, this is why I made this shot, ladies and gentlemen. So this gives me a break. I just let them go at each other.
Shut the fuck up, Pedro. I gotta say my piece. So there's a lot of these visual programming games out, and I think I don't know. I think this is like the start of at least teaching people how to like mod games and teaching people how to program. I think ultimately it's a good thing because at least it gets them in that mindset. It demystifies it to some extent. But it could also be like, oh, just this is the fake visual programming that they've gamified to the point where it's not even translatable to real world logic. Who knows? They got a Brian Eno inspired score though, whatever the fuck that means.
All I know, I have no idea why. That is a very good question, but I have no idea why. But there seems to be a lot of visual programming games lately. There was that one that we talked about last week or the week before.
Wild Street Learn?
Yes.
Feed the cat.
Yeah, Feed the Cat one. What's the point here? That one, you could see that there was a point to that. It's machine learning with visual programming, and they're totally using that as a recruitment tool if they find someone who's really good at it. But this one... Well,
listen, man, if you've ever wanted to work for virtual programming, no, okay, probably not. Coming up next, man, FeralInteractive, they threw it in our face. It's like, hey, Lara Croft, it's a thing, is returning to Linux and Rise of the Tomb Raider. A mere 3 years after the release, later this month, shortly after Mac. See, don't put that in there. That's just like an extra, like, right in the ribs right there. It's like, yeah, third-rate operating system. After the Mac OS release, which means it will come out exactly fuck all we don't know. Seem legit?
Yeah. Q1, Q2 is what Wikipedia says.
They said spring 2018, so I guess, again, June 21st is still a long way away. And
the vernal equinox has happened. It's spring.
So last week we talked about the Feral Radar, and they were talking about it on the Reddits, and Ellie, somebody asked Shylock Simmons, he's like, does this mean, because this is something we asked last week, that Life is Strange Before the Storm will be released as well. It's listed as sooner than Rise of the Tomb Raider. Either way, still picking it up. And Ellie writes back, I have no idea how that radar works. Definitely go by announcements, not that hunk of junk. So...
this is clearly a conflict between their social media marketing people and their salespeople. Because the social media marketing people are like, we're trying to engage with the people to get them excited. Right. Fucking salespeople are like, oh, radar, guess what's coming out next?
Feral, just kill the radar. I would rather just guess, because now everyone knows that internally, there's people that don't even know how the damn thing works, and it's not accurate. So why is it there?
They can make whatever they want with it. Depth charge. Remember the depth charge queue that was on there for a while?
I love the Transformer.
That was Dirt Rally. How do you go from a depth charge in the picture of a fish to Dirt Rally?
It's called a jump to conclusions mat.
Cocaine, surprisingly enough.
Okay, yeah.
Road trip. It's the thing. It's real boy.
Yeah. Up next, it's a physics-based shooter, and what that actually means, as far as I can tell, is that for those of you who don't know, if you fire a bullet from a gun and drop a bullet from the barrel at the same time, they'll both hit the ground at the same time, which means that gravity affects.
If there's no air, if there's no air resistance,
if there's no air resistance, yes, in a vacuum. But that said, all it means is that the bullets will go down. They're subjected to gravity. That's what physics-based guns means. But it's kind of just like a crappy Borderlands, where you can instead of finding all the weapons, you find pieces, customize them. And apparently, Psychic Queen. I'm gonna leave that one alone. That's too easy. But yeah, it's out. It's freaking 11.49 Canadian. If you feel like paying another
$9.99 American. This trailer looks like it was shot at a very cinematic 24 frames per second, if I'm being generous. And yeah, no.
You know, I like the whole, you have to account for the physics as you're shooting the guns, and you can mod them, and you can customize them, and you can do all that stuff. But it looks like ass, and I don't mean atomic.
Hey, man, maybe you want to be odorous to the core. Maybe that's your thing.
Odium to the core is, it's coming out May 11th, and it's... I mean, I like the art direction. I like the freaking Matrix-ass monsters, like the drones and everything. But it literally looks like it's just freaking Tappy Chicken. It's a one-button game. So you go down and then you got to press the button to go up. That's it. I mean, if that's your thing, more power to you. But I mean, like I said, I really dig the art direction here. It looks.
Hey, really man,
cool.
you get to control goth sperm to the beat of a different drummer.
Black number one, man.
You know, the mechanics behind Tappy Chicken have been done over and over again, and really the only thing you can change is the visuals. So make a different presentation. Make Tappy Chicken not look like Tappy Chicken. And you know what? This, I might send the developers an email when it comes out on May 11th.
I want at least one paragraph on goth sperm in your new fetish with it.
Listen, you got to go to linuxgamecast.com/gothsperm, and I'm sure Ben will have something up there by the time.
I will probably have something up there by the end of the day tomorrow. So fuck you. All right, you made me work.
And that's how you get Ben to do stuff. All right, that settles us for the Steam Linux update of the week. Coming up next, NVIDIA wants all our money because at this point they can basically just ask for it.
Well, if you don't watch the show live, you just missed an entire intermission worth of, well,
you're saying that like it's a bad thing. Quit lying to people.
Booty.
Yes, there was a lot of talk of butts and stretch marks and whatnot. How's that for a mental picture? But hey, if you'd like to get a say in what we talk about, you can do that. Jordan, tell the people how they can do that.
You can do that by giving us lots of money, and Pedro will send you a picture of his ass. Or you can send us more money, and he won't. And you can do that by heading on over to linuxgamecast.com. Click that support the show button. We got all sorts of interesting stuff you can click on, like Amazon affiliate links. We got Liberapay, we got Newegg affiliate links, Humble affiliate links, all sorts of affiliate links. You can just go around, buy stuff, and support us. You can even give us some magic internet money before that shit all crashes and burns, and you just feel like, why did I spend $3,000 on something that's now worth 20 cents? You can also head on over to patreon.com/LinuxGameCast, where all the cool people go. There you can join one of the 116 people who give us money week after week after week to do stuff like live streams on Wednesdays,
all the
Thursdays,
days.
Fridays, basically everything but Monday, Monday and Sunday. You got like a fucking business. You have a business week worth of Linux Gamecast, and it's terrifying. It's all thanks to you, lovely Patreons. If you want to join, you get a bunch of cool stuff. You get access to our Discord server. You get access to our show notes. You can see how the sausage is made. Hell, you can even contribute. You can add little notes, and we'll talk about them on the show. You'll get access to uncut VODs 3 days earlies, RSVPs for game streams. Live streams, exclusive Patreon live streams. Oh, and if you even want to give us, if you want to make it rain, Kid Penguin, we can we can get you on the show.
Hey,
make it rain.
Making it rain. Listen, motherfuckers, it took us 21 weeks, Pedro. 21 weeks, and they said we couldn't do it. And I don't know who they are, but the silent minority. They said we couldn't beat Half-Life 2 in multiplayer mode on hard, which we did.
But we did.
We fucking did.
Yes.
And
we had to skip 3 levels, and I know some people will never let us live that.
It's almost
down.
As if somebody had a problem with that. It seems like a fading memory. No, that's interesting.
So what's up next for you guys on Tuesdays?
I don't know. I'm through Pedro under the bus for a couple of weeks. I'll get my Tuesdays back.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Pedro, what are you going to play for the lovely people Tuesday?
I think I might actually do some Dark Souls 2, because wine. It technically runs on Linux, right?
Pedro's going to be a fucking heretic.
Yes.
I do.
It's not a heretic if you have Frenchie on keeping you company. I want to see that.
I want to give my personal thanks to our latest patron, Jacob H. He's awesome. Motherfucker. He can vibrate through walls. A lot of people don't know that about him. And also, somebody we got to check in with. That's Frank. Frank's actually on the Starship Enterprise right now with his fuck.
Oh man!
And now he's outside the Enterprise.
He's assaulting the Enterprise currently. Is that like a I don't even know who these people are at this point.
Hey man, don't judge. Frank does what he wants, and
okay, yeah, Iranian Star Trek, gotcha.
Unfortunately, not the show title. Okay, but we were showing off. I think it's probably going to be one of the. We got room for one more entry on Frank's fuck wall. That's always going to be in every incarnation of the studio before we hit 2.0. But I want to thank Arthurian because he just got an X2 multiplayer because of a road PSA 1 showed up. And Arthurian, I know you watched this after the fact. You put a bruise on my foot with this, so I hope you're happy. Like,
yes, he probably caused them physical pain.
Legit. My dumbass. And I'm like, where's the hole? Clunk. Boom. Right there. And it was like the big chunky thing that holds the base in, which it didn't really hurt. I was like, fuck, that stung. Got in the shower this morning. The entire top of my left foot's fucking blue. It's like, well, I guess that hit a bit harder than it felt like.
That fucking ruptured an artery.
Thank you. Thank you for making it rain. Helping us do this cheap mode with our bullshit little shoestring budget, man. We've been able to pull off a lot. So always floored, always impressed. Still kind of believing it's a practical joke that no one's let us in on. Go away,
they're
Penguin.
doing a very good job.
Go away. Okay.
Penguin be gone.
Penguin be gone. A new product from your friends at LGC. Let's talk about some NVIDIA.
So, yeah. NVIDIA drivers in true news fashion.
Do it. LLAP, live long and prosper. That's right. They're bringing in the new Vulkan SPIR-V compiler, reduction shader compilation, and memory. The memory thing is 100% legit. They've also added support for a bunch of Quadros, but that might as well be Moon devices. You can't afford those. Updated the SLI mosaic. What else? The biggest thing we took from this was everyone ran out, and I want to tell everyone which beta. This is 396.18. And the Vulcan news is the big news. We want to see how it's going to work with the new SPIR-V because that's supposed to be the new hot sauce. Didn't see anything massive with it. I saw about 3 to 5% boost in Sirius Sam Fusion and respectively also Talos. That wasn't too bad. Tested it on F1 2017. It's still around 70 at 10. What?
I was going to say, because you tried it with Dota too, yeah?
I'm getting to that. Back to the F1 2017 at 1080p on Ultra. Yeah, that's about that. Now, what Jordan was saying is Vulcan support in Dota 2 don't work. And it's Valve, so don't expect that to work anytime soon.
Yeah, you can if you're having problems with the new SPIR-V compiler, you can set the environment variable GL__GL_next-gen compiler equals 0. It's going to be in the show notes. You can check that out. You can just copy past it. There's totally not hidden text. I'll remove everything on your root partition. But yeah, and the other neat thing that they added was they have a global X configuration called Allow External GPUs, which is basically there to support hot pluggable USB 3 or Thunderbolt GPUs, a la what Wimpy did with his 1080 in that little Razer dock. So now you can actually have use a GPU dock and not have to completely restart X to like get access to the new GPU hardware, which is pretty nice. Because if you got a thin and light, one of the big advantages is, hey, I can just plug this external GPU and have like a real computer.
North Ranger, I gotta give you credit, but man, you missed a PPA don't preach joke. I'm just saying, you did.
But yeah, no, I saw this show up on the notes. It's like, okay, let's see if it's in the PPA. New It's not in the PPA.
It's totally
okay,
PPA.
Apparently.
It is.
It's in the PPA for 1710. It's not in the PPA for 1604.
Listen, Grandpa.
If we are to take the previous beta drivers as an example, it probably means something's busted. And considering how NVIDIA's been doing lately, it's probably fucking busted, isn't it?
I don't know. I didn't see any necessary nightmare fuel. I haven't tested it with Chrome because the one Chrome instance that I'm running right now for our browser, I'm running with the disabled sandbox, which I don't want to take that away because how loudly Chrome screams is like, "Are you high? What the fuck's your problem? Why are you doing? You're going. Everything's going to catch on fire." And I'm like, I know. It's brilliant. I don't know if that's fixing. Yeah, didn't see any flickers or anything. You didn't have any fucking problems on Fedora though, right?
Well, I haven't been experiencing the Chrome issues. I haven't gotten around to installing the new GPU drivers because they fucking released a new one last week, and I try to synchronize them with the kernel updates just so that I only have to do a reboot once. So yeah, I'll probably give it a whirl next week and report back. But speaking of NVIDIA, man, do they fucking hate your wallet with a passion.
Hey, man, you're just being cheap, man. You got to pay for high-quality, ginormous displays.
Oh, absolutely. All right, so some G-Sync HDR monitors are coming out via Acer and Asus. This is from Anon Tech. You can see the links to all this in the show notes. There you go.
Show notes.
Yes.
Yes.
The Acer Predator X27 and the Asus ROG Swift PG27UQ. These are going to be 27-inch UHD 144 hertz monitors with the G-Sync. And if you scroll down a little bit, would you look at that fucking price tag on them? Without minus the VAT for the low end ones are going to be about 2,500. The top end ones are going to be about $3,000. That just hurts my balls. Let's not do that. We were talking about this in the pre-show as well, where AMD isn't charging for FreeSync, and it's not necessarily as smooth as G-Sync, but it's fucking everywhere. That other 4K monitor I have, like, just sitting in the box.
Motherfucker, you can barely buy a monitor without it having FreeSync in it. It's not even something you go looking for. So why are we getting skull fucked on this? It's not the 27-inch because you can buy a gang of 27-inch monitors all day long. That's not going to run you $3,000. It's not the 144 hertz.
Either with the UHD panel.
That's the thing. Yeah, UHD 3840 by 21. Is HDR like $2,700 to implement or what?
No, it's
HDR plus G-Sync. Yeah.
Oh,
it's just G-Sync. Even it's the old GPP, monitors. Man. Yeah, like the Predator monitors that came out a while back. Those are still stupidly expensive. Do you want to pay, I don't know, $800 for a 1080p monitor? Buy one with G-Sync.
Want to and willing to, because that's something we were talking about in the pre super shows, and go back and listen to it, patrons. It was actually a pretty good one for once. These motherfuckers done the research on this, and they know there's a market for this. This isn't, you don't go through this production process. As Atomic points out, he's like, I'm going to buy all three. There are people out there who will genuinely buy these things. I don't know them. I want to have their names and numbers so I can mock them relentlessly.
Listen, some people value different things. Some people want to retire before they're 50. Other people want fucking sweet ass monitors, bro. 144 hertz, G-Sync 4K.
6 hertz. Oh man, you can have it on PC Master Race. Oh, this is my little setup, and it's 3 fucking these motherfuckers. He's like, it's not much, but it's mine. I'm like, all right.
Yeah, I want a G-Sync monitor. I do. I want to see the promised land that is G-Sync. But fuck your prices, NVIDIA.
Cold day in Tartarus before that's going to happen. Feral drops some source with a little help from the Icorific Dorky.
Oh, yes. So, you may have run into issues in the past where Feral games just had kind of crappy performance. Shadow of Mordor. And one of Feral's recommendations was to
any game you've played using an AMD processor.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
But, one of the things they always recommend is that you set the processor governor to performance instead of on-demand or power save or what have yous. It's probably going to eat up your battery, but hey, if you want to play games, that's what you need to do. And now they have released a bit of a daemon. It runs in the background, and the moment it detects a game that has this functionality built in, or you can simply add that functionality by adding the they give you all the little details in the post below the source code itself. They give you, like, you just add the call to the daemon to say, look, this is a game, it's about to start, please set the
it's a library you gotta preload.
Governor.
So you set the environment very
well. Okay, yes. Real talk, man, because I was looking at this and it's like, oh, okay, that's the thing. Jordan, you got to explain to me. Explain to me again how you're not a hobbit, because explain to me how this is more than a glorified performance governor that really doesn't make sense outside of laptops.
It's not even that. Yeah, it's not even that, man. It is literally just periodically you get the pop-up where it's like, oh, you need to turn on performance mode on your CPU governor. It just makes this pop-up go away. That's really all it does. And I mean, they've made it clear a couple times, like, yeah, you need to do this. We won't start the game until you do this, because otherwise it'll run like ass. So, I mean, it's a quality of life thing, but. And I guess it's safer than like saying, oh, you need to enter your root password when you launch the game so that we can manually set the governor. Here's a little service that like is very limited in what it can do. So there's that in terms of not giving games a root password ?
Yeah. And it's one of the things I had in the notes is like, okay, so I've been running, all I have enabled on this processor right now is the performance mode. I've disabled all the C states and the whatever else states AMD has on the BIOS, because, performance, that's what we're here for. So I was kind of, so is this just going to change the games that support it and the ones you add to the thing? That the daemon then sets the performance governor on the CPU while you're running that specific game, or is it just going to start fucking with my governor regardless? But no.
See, what I think the intention here is, though, is like it'll set the governor to performance mode while you're playing the game, and then it'll return it to the old value after you're done, which is, I guess, kind of nice.
I don't know. I guess with me, with the 7. Go ahead. Carrier system.
I was just gonna say it's a quality of life thing. That's really all it is.
Well, possibly. I mean, with the 1700, I just have everything maxed out. It's overclocked, kind of, not really, but at 3.7 gigajoules, and just do that. Set everything to maximum, especially on a desktop. Set everything to maximum. Scream YOLO. Set a koala on fire, and just like peace out, man. With that trying to save energy.
It's not a laptop. Stuff. You're not trying to save battery. So,
listen, man. Anything's a laptop if you're brave enough and have a big enough UPS.
Scream.
And the 13th Doll, a fan-made game from, it's kind of like a 7th Guest spinoff. You remember that? Probably not, because you're not old and decrepit like I am. 13th Doll, a fan game of the 7th Guest, is an upcoming game featuring 20 unique puzzles, 35 environments, and featuring full motion video sync. Motherfucker. All right, we've just had to live through the hipster pixel resurgence. Do not let FMV games come back and be a thing. This is going to launch October 31st, 2018. There is a pre-ordered, never pre-ordered, but I just wanted to let people be aware of this because they are going to support Linux, or so they can claim. And I remember seeing that Stairway. I never got to play the 7th Guest. It was like the first real PC my mom ever bought me, and one that she was like halfway convinced I wouldn't immediately disassembled. Totally immediately disassembled it. It was a Pentium 75, like 8 gigs of RAM, almost a 2 gig hard drive. And it had Windows 3.11 on it, or 3.1. I don't know if it had workgroups. And one of my friends, I'd seen this at his house, and that FMV was like, oh my God, you can watch things on your little, like, 12-inch monitor. Never could get it to run on that damn box, so I've never got to play 7th Guest, man.
Yeah, getting graphical adventure games, especially working in the DOS era, especially now, even if you want to run it in DOS box, is a bit of the pain in the ass. Sometimes you even got to install Windows 3.1 on DOS box just to get shit to even work. Period. I mean, there's nothing inherently wrong with FMV games. They're just like playable movies, right? And it would be interesting if someone, because the 90s FMV games were very emblematic of like, well, now we can store videos on games. Let's just like integrate them into the games. I'm curious if like someone would take a crack at them using like modern gameplay design techniques and tools. That could potentially be interesting. But to be perfectly honest, I just want to see Christopher Walken in video games again.
Quite possibly. Oh, did you see the bullshit they're doing with Myst? It was instantly funded. They did a Kickstarter. It might have been Indiegogo. We're bringing the Myst to current operating. Basically, your spiel about getting them up and running, and we're bringing it to. Brace yourself. Get ready. Dun dun dun. And this is like in the title of the Kickstarter. Windows 10.
Windows 10.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was like, are you going to throw some DX12 lub on something that was made in Hyper? But they're not only going to do Myst, they're going to do Riven and all this other shit. But
yeah, and it's just going to be UWP, so you can play it on your Windows phone.
I don't know, man.
I never really liked full FMV games. It's I played one all the way through, Dark Side of the Moon, not the Pink Floyd album, and no.
Hey man, I see North Ranger. He's talking about Night Trap. I borrowed that from a friend on the Sega CD, not the 32X, even though I had 32X. But FMV games that actually played the Phantasmagoria, played that, and Phantasmagoria 2, Puzzle of
Flash.
Yes, I played a little bit of that. But yeah, let's not say we did. Okay,
that's a bit brutal then.
Boom. Yeah. Segways, motherfuckers.
So, Brutal Doom. You love it, you hate it. Who knows? Maybe you've played it, maybe you haven't. But it's a thing, and it's got so many different mods for it. I mean, it's a mod within a open source re-implementation. Yeah, so this is Brutal Unreal Tournament Doom. And what it does is it brings the Unreal Tournament, OG Unreal Tournament, to
just Unreal, I think it was.
Okay, wait, hang on. Tap the brakes. That's a fucking devastator. Now, I'm impressed if you can navigate the damn missile. Because that was the only cool thing about
it is
the Devastator.
Unreal Tournament there, Jordan. Look at the little picture that they have. It's the weapons from Unreal Tournament brought over to Brutal Doom, and I was very disappointed because I saw the title as like, oh shit, someone made a Brutal Doom style thing for the original Unreal. Yeah, I'm totally down for that. No, it's just weapons for Brutal Doom.
It's weapons, and you can arguably say the weapons are too well done. They don't look like from the same era,
they don't fit.
I mean, it'll work with GZ Doom, Zdoom, Zendronum, and the Detouch for Android. So it'll work with whatever Doom clone you happen to be working on. All I'm thinking is like somewhere in time, there's like some '90s gamer having like a prophetic wet dream, like, oh, one day I'll be able to use Unreal weapons in Doom. And I'll be like, oh god, I gotta change my sheets.
Maybe they just wanted to sing the Doom song. Knew that was gonna fucking happen. All right.
Yeah.
Hashtag
Russia. Yeah. So January 1st, the Jagged Alliance. It's not necessarily an engine re-implementation. I think they have the source code and they're just porting it over to STL2. But they had a release 16.0 on January, and there were some changes, or there were some problems. And so as of April, they have released not 16.1, which is just a bug fix. It fixes crash during an AI turn during the Meduna. It prevents saving during stopwatch. Apparently, if you got Russian enabled as a language, it would crash during the loading screen because Putin doesn't want you to play Jagged Alliance.
What is Jagged Alliance? Is it for like the three people that think British engineering is a real thing?
No, it's an old turn-based strategy game back from the late 90s, early 2000s. Had a fairly significant fan base. The source code got dumped on the internet, and people are like, hey, now that we have the source code, we can just make it work with new shit. So this is what Stracciatella is? Stracciatella? Stracciatella? Yeah, there you go.
Come on. It's...
Strike Nutella. Got it.
Why don't you fuck it up a few times, Pedro? Take a couple of swings at it. Go ahead.
I know how to say stracciatella. Thank you very much.
Do you, though?
Do you?
Do you know how to say stat umbrella?
You want to die on this hill? All right. I'm cool with that. Hey, man, did they ever release a version of Jagged Alliance on the PS3?
I don't know if they released it on the PS3, but they released quite a few PS3 games that I'm very much looking forward to play in our PCS3. Yes.
Update of the month.
Progress report. Yes. March 2018 was a good month. They managed to make some major improvements to the emulator itself. They also got some more games to a playable state, but the bulk is still in the in-game portion of the little graph that they have. They fixed an issue with the vertex rendering, causing like some games to just not display the graphics properly. They fixed where was it?
I don't know.
My favorite fix throughout this entire thing is apparently by changing a 2 to a 3. They've improved a bunch of fucking texture issues on Skate 2, Little Big Planet, Dante's Inferno, and the infamous DLC. This is exactly the kind of hacky bullshit I love reading about in these stuff plugs, because like on the one hand you got Dolphins like, yeah, we're having texture popping problems, so we decided we're gonna just implement the entire Wii GPU in Vulcan on your GPU, and our CS3 is like, yo man, we changed the number and everything's better now. I don't know why, but it's working.
Listen, man, there's nothing wrong with like shit works, yo. Hashtag still had sex, you know.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
And the one I was looking for was The Last of Us. It now gets in-game if you're lucky, because it's still a bit of a crapshoot. It still crashes a lot, but it's one of the games that one of the developers is actively working on. Was it Neko Tekina and Eladash? They're the ones who are putting all the work into getting The Last of Us into a playable state, and that is one of the games that I am.
Hey, is that Red Dead Redemption?
Red Dead Redemption.
Red Bread Redemption.
Bedhead Redemption. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's awesome to see that they're still doing this. Very much looking forward to playing all the PS3 games, and never could because I didn't have PS3. Yeah.
No.
Hey, I say good on them. They haven't really shown too much signs of like genuinely slowing down all that much. So
nope.
Yeah. Well, they got their Patreon, right? So they can afford to do some development and actually spend some time doing.
Unreal Engine fixes. Which is great. They fixed the Unreal Engine PS3 games by a lot. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. You can clone that from their Git, compile it if you want, and go play some PlayStation 3 games, you filthy fucking pirates. Coming up next, we go to a world where cars are actually made out of Play-Doh and can fly? Sometimes. If you fall off a cliff and miss the ground.
Awkward.
No, this is awkward. We're gonna race forever and ever and ever and ever and Foreveracers by Super Smashing Great Games, trademarked, developed on the Unity engine. You can pick it up for around $5 or $6 of your particular local currency. What is it? The bouncy, wobbling arcade multiplayer driving game. Jump into the action with no fuss. Race, roam, roll, and crash, and challenge as you drive around the game world day and night. Cut corners, find shortcuts, avoid other players while trying to set the best lap times or win the challenges. This is CHAIRQASITION. This is where we take a game like this one that the developers sent us some keys for. We We give it a play. We give it our thoughts. We maybe do a little bit of quality assurance that the developers should have done before taking it out to the real world. We give it a chair rating. 1 chair means it's garbage. 2 chairs means that's meh. 3 chairs means it's pretty good. 4 chairs means that's awesome. We apply those to our categories of doom, mixed with working, shiny sounds, controls, and fun. So to kick this off, let's talk about the operational aspects of this game.
Yeah,
man. I heard that I heard that this was a pain in the ass to get up and running.
Listen, man, we're just gonna go through. If you want our detailed notes in this business, head over to LinuxGameCast.com. Check out those show notes. But for the audio listeners and everybody else out there, check it out. Let's run this down. 3840 2160 runs all right. 1080p runs. Then again, runs all right. More than just a second. It does windowed good. Does full screen good. Unity title. That's saying a lot. Didn't say any disparaging remarks about my mother. Always look for that in a Unity title. Nothing to complain about. Is it just me, lads? Or did it manages for the most part to hold 60? But even when it's holding 60, it's just something about how it's moving. It's like it's just holding 60.
Yeah.
If you disable VSync, it gets rid of that.
Pedro, I've seen it drop into the 50s, man.
Yeah.
Oh no! So what you running this shit on?
A computer. Why? What are you running on? Tacos?
Aren't you?
I was asking Pedro a question.
Northern tacos.
On the box of business, the Ubuntu 1710 powered by Ryzen 1700 displayed at UHD. And that business is pumped out with a 980. So yeah, hitting 50 at any point. Now, this game has been in pre-release on Steam, even though they didn't have a Steam store page like for the past year. Originally, this thing struggled to hit 45. I know you're looking at the video. Maybe if you're not looking at the video, go back and think about it. And you'll say what I will. How? That's the thing. Jordan, how did it run on Intel land?
Well, I was honestly quite surprised given what we've had to deal with in the past couple weeks. No Unity scream of nope. No bloop a noop. It actually starts when you click play, and it doesn't require messing around with an INI file to make the mouse work. My God, on Fedora 26 64-bit with the i7 6700K and the GTX 980, it just works. It's almost refreshing after a while of seeing like these really high profile games that are like, oh, we got cool graphics and cool gameplay. Oh, but it doesn't fucking work. It ran about as smoothly as you can expect. Holding generally good frame rates at UHD, which is what I just played at. I didn't feel the need to knock it down to 1080p. I'll give that 4 chairs.
Yeah, no, absolutely no fuss with this one. I've been playing this game since before it was on Steam because I saw a post on Twitter. Someone retweeted that this game was a thing, and it's like, oh, that looks neat. And they had like a free alpha version available at the time. And yeah, it works. Out of the box, no issues. 4 chairs over here on 1604, still running 1604. Yeah, with the Ryzen 5 1600 and the GTX 1080.
I mean, that's been kind of a big ask for the past couple games, but it's
indeed
someone at least tries to make a functional product that ships. All right, Shiny and Sounds. That's 4 chairs total. For Shiny and Sounds, I think it looks stupid, but I think that's the point. And the crap aesthetic kind of helps when like you're spinning out of control and you're about to get mad, but then you look at the game, you're like, no, I have no reason to get mad. They didn't put an effort into this. So that's definitely a thing. I mean, I guess there's a soundtrack. I didn't really hear it. I ended up putting on like a podcast just to like,
there's a soundtrack?
fill the void of. I don't know. Is there? I really couldn't.
I get around to it.
It makes noises. I thought I may have heard something.
Yeah.
Nothing of this.
There's engine noise.
Nothing of this abortion of a racing game made me think it had noise attached to it. Maybe it does.
Yeah,
it has noise. I mean, not music.
I'll give it 2 chairs because like shit shows up on the screen, and the camera is a bit fucky. I maybe have an issue with that.
Oh, seriously? On the checklist of bullshit? The camera.
Listen, the people are paying us for thorough reviews.
All right. Okay.
And I don't know. It's two chairs for me. Pedro, what do you say about this?
Well, I can see that there's some extra cell shading on top of just a general lack of textures, which makes everything look like it's made out of plasticine, but it doesn't, play like it's made out of plasticine. Doesn't have that when you do a jump with a car, there's no terrain getting deformed beneath the car, nothing like that. I get that aesthetics weren't a priority here. It's a simple game. It's got simple mechanics, and the aesthetics are there. It's got just enough visuals and noises to give you something, but nothing that'll blow your mind. So as far as I'm concerned, it gets 2 chairs.
All right. So check this business out. Look at it. This is some Superman 64 looking type shit. That's what this is, man. This is something you expect to be able to run with that SGI chip on an N64. It's flat, it's textured, it's not ugly. You could say this is stylized. And you can also say it's fucking programmer art and without textures. There's another way to phrase that. I don't hate it, but it's no. I mean, it works. That's all I'm going to say, man. I'll throw 2 chairs on this, but with the questionable performance, perfectly playable on a 980. It should be at 1080p. It's the cars are nice, especially the ones with flowers on it. They've got a pretty. There is some destructible, questionably destructible damage. Like shit, kind of breaks when you slide sideways, but it doesn't completely get terribly fucky. So that's the thing. Have fun with it. Nothing terribly great to report about this.
Yeah, so about 2 chairs, about the meh.
That's why I said 2 chairs.
Yeah, so that's 2 chairs for the shiny and the sounds. Up next is Control. Then how did the cars handle being the resident?
The whole point and the whole conceit of this game is a racing game where your suspension is made out of because fuck you, and that's why. Those are the 2 key jelly physics, and it's bad. It's supposed to be bad, and it is bad, and it's kind of brilliant like that. They took time with this because every vehicle has its own bad to it. So you can't, you can get used with a free candy van, then you can go over to the clown car. Nothing that you learned in the first is going to translate to the latter. So I can respect that. With the controls, steer, petrol, brake. That's it. You don't need anything. You got 3 buttons. You can basically play this on a 2600 controller if you're creative. Played it with the Steam controller. It worked out of the box, no issues. And something that's supposed to be fucky out of the box, you just got to tap out on the control section because how can you tell the difference? Man, 4 chairs.
There is a bit of a difference. Because, you're letting me see the controls, but you're not letting me change it. No matter how, silly your game looks and how, it's supposed to be goofy. You don't fuck with people's ability to play your game. See, this teeny tiny controller, I got it because it's teeny tiny, and it lets me reach all the buttons, and by default, the accelerate button is the right trigger, which is this little nubbin here, and right next to it is the right bumper. So I kept hitting the right bumper by mistake, and I wished so much for a way to rebind it, but short of using the Steam controller rebinding options, you can't. So I ended up playing it with the keyboard because at least then it mapped both WASD and the directional arrows, and I could switch between the 2 at will, and I tend to use WASD for racing games because I don't need the mouse. So yeah, no, I'm still going to ding you 2 chairs for not letting me rebind the controls.
All right.
Yeah, again, I think it's supposed to control stupid, but yeah, the cars are wobbly and they'll spin out super quickly. And I get it. That's part of the game, but it still controls like ass. And I don't like it. Here's another point. I mean, like, if you're going at low enough speeds, like I'm able to complete laps and races and stuff like that, and not completely go off the rails. I don't place particularly well, but you know, it is what it is, right? The only car game I play with any amount of regularity is Rocket League, so I keep expecting Square to be boost. No issues on the DualShock though. Everything worked out of the box. Paired in Steam controller mode, so that was all very, very happy.
God damn, man! There's a game right there. We need rocket cars with these physics.
Oh god, I think that's just like an option. Yeah, I think that's just an option in Rocket League. Oh god, this is what's going to happen in the after shows, and stay tuned for that. Yeah, I'm going to give this 2 chairs. Yeah, it controls like an ass. I get it that it's supposed to, but you know, fuck that noise.
All right,
that's 2 chairs for controls. Let's move on to fun. Ben, do you have fun?
Check it out, real simple, real quick. Forever Alone mode. It's wicked boring. You see Pedro's playing in Forever Alone mode. I played a little bit yesterday, and I joined Pedro's game because guess what? He was the only other person on the entirety of Steam that was playing this game. It does have a multiplayer option, but unless you buy a couple of copies, a gang of copies, and hand it out, you're going to be playing by yourself. You're not going to be playing with bots. And their idea of Ghost is like, come on, really? Is a twinkly sparkle fuck that follows around like, what the hell's this thing? You're like, oh, that's your Ghost. You're supposed to be racing that. All right, that's the thing.
It's Twilight, the racing game.
This game's really only viable with either a gang of people to play it with or an obscene amount of cocaine. Both of those are winning solutions. However, out of the box with this, even at $5.99, can't recommend it.
Yeah, this just isn't my jam. I mean, it's a little fun to sort of dupe around and find all the different tracks. And you go into the Sky track and it's like, oh, it's like Rainbow Road from Mario Kart, except it's worse and crappier, and I kind of want to die right now. And at some point, I'm just like, okay, time to take a break. How long have I been playing? Oh, 10 minutes. Ha. Okay. So, like, I get it. There's like challenges. You can kill all the snowmen. You can knock over all the cactuses. You can try and get the best time and everything like that. I'm not gonna do that because I'm not good enough at this game, and I don't care to get good enough at this game to do that.
Well, I like maybe in the video that Pedro's first thing to entertain, Pedro immediately starts finding ways to cheat.
Oh yeah. After about the second or third lap, it's like, oh hey, no, that's a shortcut. I can just use that. Oh hey, my time got better. And like that's the point, right? It's an interesting little take on racing, but maybe it's good for driving game fans who just want to like chill out and dupe around. But for me, I got to give it 1 chair. It's not doing anything for me. I'm entirely soft at the end of this playthrough. Pedro?
Yeah. As the Steam store blurb states, it's a multiplayer game.
Mm-hmm.
If you're playing it on your own, it's not fun. It's when you think about it, it's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy of Noop, because there's no fun to be had in playing on your own, so people don't play the game. If people aren't playing the game, there's no one else to play online with, and if there's no one else to play online with, well, people aren't going to be playing the game because it's not fun to play it alone, and so on and so forth. I hope that the dev, I think it's just a one developer, I hope he takes the skills that he learned and makes another more complete game. This is a very good, experiment of mechanics. It's like, okay, let's make the cars really top heavy, give him jolly suspension, and now you have to manage it. But it needs more. It needs bots. It needs if you're going to go the full-on goofy route, add more challenge modes, something else a bit different. It's playing and learning the physics of the different cars is great, but not when you're alone. No, 2 chairs.
All right, well, that is 1 chair for fun, and put a bow on that. That is 2 chairs. This game, Foreveracers, gets a big old strider. Final thoughts, anyone? No?
Yes, an effort was made to make a game.
Mm-hmm.
I just think with fucky games like this, even golf with friends, you gotta have a community around it, or else it's just boring.
Yeah.
You just gotta fuck your game, and fuck your game without friends is nope. Peace out, bitches.
It's a very good experiment, but it needs more. Don't by any means don't stop making games just because this one isn't, shooting you off to the moon like indie stars of days past.
This is definitely one of those situations where you can say sometimes more is less, but sometimes
less is less.
This is a little bit too much less.
Yeah. So LN-SF user bin less to user bin more.
Get us out of here.
Anyways, coming up next, we talk about itty bitty little Intel computers, and someone else has embraced the Strider life.
Look at that. You're still alive. Yeah. And you've made it to the end of the show, which is amazing considering everything we've been through tonight. Yes. So yes. If you have some interjections you'd like to pose, if you have some comments you'd like to make, you can head on over to LinuxGameCast.com, hit the contact button, fill out the form, make sure LGC Weekly is the thing, what is selected in the drop-downy thing, and that's it. We will definitely be getting back to you. If not, we will probably most likely feature it right here. You can also leave us comments on YouTube, Patreon. Patreons, of course, get special...
Careful with that. You'll definitely end up on the show.
Yeah. We might actually bring you on. So this bit of hate mail.
Wait, hang on. I gotta get this in my system. No, I'm thinking like Scorpion 2 should have been called Scorpion Drift.
Scorpion King 2, Tokyo, Gambia Drift. I don't know.
All right,
Cairo Drift.
Nook bitches from. I'm not even gonna try that. That's not a name. That's somebody's whatever. LNV. Nook. Where are the Steam machines based on the Intel Nook? Question mark. That screams killer combo. Period.
That screams. I have an Intel integrated graphics and I can't play games.
If you got an Iris, then it's passable, but that would work more as like an HTPC / like streaming box. Like if you set up the in-home streaming stuff, that could work.
Man, if you build a streaming box out of a Nook, you have more money than fucking sense. Nooks.
I mean, they're only $300, right?
Starting base level with like 1 meg of RAM.
Yeah, without RAM. Yeah, no RAM, no SSD or hard drive, any storage or anything. It's just the motherboard, the processor.
Just boot it off a flash drive, man. or be like the Atomic Ass and keep all your games on an NFS share that you just import. You just mount it.
Yeah, $1,200 according to North Ranger. $1,200 for the Kenyan skull, the Hades Kenyan. Sorry.
Okay, that's what I was about to ask. I was like, what about with the AMD GPU? It's like, hey guys, it's totally Vega. Not really, but we're calling it Vega. Not even though it's not.
To be fair, Vega and Polaris had basically the exact same architecture. It's just another one of AMD's rebrands.
Well, even though it doesn't have like fast math, the fastpack math and shit. I mean, basic shit that is part of what makes Vega Vega. Yeah, outside of that, Pedro. Yeah, same fucking piece of kit.
Yeah. The architecture. So, yes.
Moral of the story: if you want to set up a Nux Steam machine, you absolutely can. You just don't have our endorsement.
Yeah.
No shit. Go ahead.
Up next. Up next, we got Randall, who's living that Strider life. He says, "I don't want to be that guy, but I run 1604, and this game in Steam worked beautiful for me right out of the box since beta. I didn't touch a thing. I didn't change a thing." He's talking about Neverwinter Nights, yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, I guess you're the only comment
on the
yeah.
You see,
so
I've
Randall,
also been running.
I guess you're the only one.
Hang on. Wait a minute, guys. Okay, now talk over each other. It works better when I'm doing this.
So I've been running the game on 1604 since it was in beta, since before it was even on Steam, and it worked fine. And then with the latest few patches, they introduced 2x scaling, which fucked the UI for everyone who is running 1080p or higher. Hello, I'm upside down. they've introduced the Steam Cloud saves, which were broken and weren't uploading properly, and the game likes to not quit when you quit out of it. So that's a bit of an issue. And the only way that you're not running into any of these issues is, well, one, you're lying. Two, you have a 1366 by 768 laptop that you're running this off of, and it probably worked just fine because the UI scaling thing didn't, affect you. And so you didn't have to go to the INI and change to hardware cursor. Yeah, that'll probably do it.
Hang on. Breaking news. What?
Make eye contact.
Eye contact is not important. It's creepy. Don't. Just throwing that out there.
That's my contribution to this entire
pro tip from Old Man Ben. No, man, I'm glad it works for you, TM. You weren't necessarily that person. It's like, hey, man, it works on a system. Pedro, what are you running? Just stock 1604?
It's not exactly stock, but yeah, it's 1604.
Just for like future reference, this goes for everyone. It's a lot more helpful when you throw the Strider, and it works for me if we know what it is other than just the operating system. Like it might be helpful for everyone else to like have other metrics like CPU, GPU,
monitor resolution,
sacrifice count, yeah, stuff like that. I mean,
power supply.
Power supply?
Yeah. I want to know about your power supplies. Send your hate mail about power supplies to Pedro at LinuxGameCast.com.
I'm going to send Steam. I'm going to send Steam a fucking email and be like, "Can we add this to the system requirements power just to see if they?"
Yeah. I want a VRM count on the motherboard listing.
I want. Listen, no. I want CMOS battery placement as a requirement.
Oh, yes. How many regular PCIe ports does it have?
Or the location of the BIOS reset jumper? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We're not going to do any worse than that, so let's go ahead and cue the music. You'd always find us around 9:30 Eastern Time. We need to do an early show. I don't know. Let's pretend I didn't say that. There might be a slight chance in Tartarus that we'll pull it off. If you want to talk to me, at Vinstone on the Twitters, plus Vinstone, Google+. That's 2 places I'm active, and that's pretty much it.
You can find me seductively eating fruits at the Burning Fool.
Banana's not a fruit. I'm that guy.
Banana's totally a fruit. It's a berry. Berries are fruits.
That's a really weird berry. And I will be looking forward to Monster Cameron shouting me down for implying that Polaris and Vega have similar architectures at Unaccounted For on Twitter or plus with Matheus on Google+.
We learned more than we needed to with that banana. So, without further ado,
potassium, bitch.
Here's the credits.
Bananas are berries. What the fuck?
Visual TMI, baby. Visual TMI. Thank all the beautiful party patrons that are rolling by right now with the credits. If you listen to the audio, just close your eyes and imagine an abysmally enlightening experience, which was Linux Gamecast Weekly, episode 295.
I mean, I've stared into the face of Nirvana, and I found it lacking.
Did it blow your mind?
Completely.
Well, I mean, that shit happens all the time.
Low-hanging fruit.
Oh, shit. Ben, I'm very disappointed in you.
Oh, man.
Don't worry. You're still a peach in my eyes.
It's country life, man.
This is going downhill strawberry fast.
Mm-hmm. No, that I already used the berry pun for very. You fail.
Generic berries. Wait,
orange you entirely orange you entirely ashamed, and strawberries aren't berries, by the way.
What the fuck, English?
5 dudes.
What? Hashtag 5 dudes. That's no moon!
That's a berry, motherfucker.
That's a berry, yeah.
Don't you know Death Stars are vegetables?
Botanically, they're vegetables. 5 dudes.